Great. Kevin McNamara, we're live.
Excellent.
Yeah, welcome to the pod, man.
Thank you.
So sick. I didn't even know that you lived in Cleveland when I invited you down here, so it's
Yeah.
extra special to me that you're here in Athens and
Yeah.
able to shoot this.
Down here just for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout
No,
out to you.
Yeah. I'm actually here for a couple other meetings and
Yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like I like to come back, at least every couple of weeks, and I split my time between the two places.
Cleveland and Athens. What's your relationship with Athens? Like,
Yeah, I have a son who just graduated from here this past spring.
OU?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And we, it's kind of funny. So I have the reason that you've invited me here is because I own Hotbox Chicken Fingers and Tots.
Yeah.
But I also have my little day job, which is I work for a student loan company, and I manage a 13-state territory. And so I've traveled all over. I've seen so many of the schools, and it's really funny because when this son of mine was ready to come to college, he was solely focused on OU. He's like, nope, I don't even want to look at other schools. And I'm like, buddy, you've got to look at other schools. Come on, just please humor me. And he says, no, I want to go to OU. And, OU in my mind, I'm Gen X. Back in the day that I would have been here had I chosen to come here, OU was a very different place. Playboy magazine named it #1 party school in the U.S. and it was for that reason that I was forbidden to even look at it. And so he wanted to come and see it, and this was during the pandemic. And I called up a friend of mine who was the former acting dean of students, who I went to high school with. And she said, no, Kev, it's different. Come on down. I'll show you around. So we came down, and I just fell in love with Athens. It's just such a beautiful town, such a great vibe. The academics are really solid, really, really great. And so when I saw all of that, my wife and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, okay, not only are we good with him coming here, but why didn't we look at this place? So so that's kind of
your introduction to Athens.
Yeah, that was my intro to Athens. That was 4.5 years or so ago,
nice.
5 years ago, and my wife and I owned a chicken finger franchise up in Cleveland for a dozen years. And, being a franchise, you've got to abide by the way that the home office says things have to be, and it was a great education in terms of what the differences are in making an excellent product versus an okay product. But along with that came, we were working for a chain that was, 50 years old. And it was still run by the family, run by the children of the founders. And we had to kind of abide by what they said.
There's zero leeway. Just
zero.
like, this is exactly the operating procedures. Go execute.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I had done some radio spots for a while on the sports talk station up in Cleveland, and they got wind of that. I hadn't told them, and they said, we need to hear the recordings. We need to see this, and for future reference, we need to approve every script you do.
Wow.
And I said, well, do you have scripts that you would use? They, oh, yeah, we can send you some. And they sent me these scripts, and they were the most boring, canned kind of things.
Yeah, corporate jargon.
Yeah. And so after a dozen years, we just kind of figured we had such a long wish list of how we would rather do it that we let the franchise agreement lapse. And we were moving our son into Bromley, start a sophomore year.
This is 2021?
Yeah. And so I dumped all of his stuff at the door. He didn't want my help in bringing him upstairs. He had all his friends there waiting for him. And so I decided to take a walk down Court Street. And I saw this space available.
Yeah, it was probably a carryout then?
It had been, yeah. It had been a carryout. It was already in the process of being completely gutted on the inside. But it had a for lease sign and a phone number in the window. So I called the realtor. It was Uptown Athens Realty. And Bob came over and unlocked the place and showed it to me. And he said, as you can tell, this building needs a lot of work. It's 140 years old. But, we plan on refortifying it so it can last another 140 years.
Yeah.
If you're patient, it's yours. And I thought, oh, great, yeah, I'm patient. So what are we talking, like a month, 2 months, 3 months, a semester? It was 2 years.
Yeah, that's what there was an article that talked about. So, like, in that 2-year process, is it I mean, was it like partially COVID related? Was it just like restrictions of the city getting permits? Like, what was the dance for 2 years? Why did it take 2 years?
It was a lot of permits. It was permits and contractors. And because we were just coming out of COVID, Columbus was so backed up with applications and permits and whatnot, and they were still working remotely by and large. So they didn't have the manpower to go ahead and process things. So it just took a super long time.
And you're sitting here like you're stroking a lease payment for 2 years. Fuck.
Absolutely, yeah. And I had all of my equipment in a storage locker up in Cleveland, and I was just chomping at the bit. And the whole time I kept thinking, I've got to get there before, that national chain comes into Athens. I won't say their name, but it rhymes with Schmazing Schmains. And so I kept calling the owner saying, please, what's going on? I've got to get in there. I got to get open before they do. And so we finally did. We opened up the week before Thanksgiving.
24.
Yeah, 24, my son's senior year.
Wow.
And so, but we're here. And you know what? In a way, it was also kind of a blessing because during that amount of time that I was waiting, I knew what the place was going to be. I had a strong idea of what the menu would be, but it gave me time to really sit and stew on it and let those ideas simmer.
Those ideas of like differentiating good and really great, which is one thing you mentioned. Like, so then, what's an insight of that? Like, what is an example of something that like, how did you take a great process and make it better?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I know where the shortcuts are in terms of other chains and in terms of what they do to basically help their bottom line.
Yeah.
If you can spec in a slightly lower grade of chicken, you're going to save, 15, 20%.
Yeah.
Same thing with other ingredients that go into it. So we just decided, no, we're going to go and we're going to max out on quality. We're going to make this thing really, really great. Mm-hmm. But then I also wanted to have the menu broad enough that I had some menu, some ways to delineate my menu versus the other guys. Mm-hmm. So that's why the name is Hot Box Chicken Fingers and Tots. Because, we've got the crinkle cut fries. So do the other guys. Ours are thicker. They're more potatoey. But we also have a tater tot and we sampled, Lord knows how
those
many.
Tater tots are so
how
fire.
many different.
They're even better. Like tater tots take me back to high school.
Yeah.
It's like high school used to serve tater tots every day.
Absolutely.
They're fucking so much better than those. But for sure, the first tater tot I ate was just like, God, this is great.
Yeah, and thank you. And so we've gone out of our way to try to source and find all the best things like that. And then even with sandwiches. We started out with 4 different sandwiches on the menu rather than, just the standard one sandwich that everybody else has. And during our first year of operation, we had a contest the 1 month to name an employee of the month. Nice. And then the person that would win that would get a gift card and would have their selected item, their invention, added to the menu.
That's cool.
For a short period of time.
Yeah.
And this was a gal that invented what we now have named the Hot Chick. And it's, the 3 tenders on a leaf of lettuce. The tenders are spiced with our sweet and spicy seasoning, and then topped with our hot fire sauce, and then also topped with ranch.
Nice.
And it is just a big sloppy mess, and it's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
And so it was so good, I just said, okay, if you don't mind, this is going to be a permanent fixture to the menu. So now we've got 5 sandwiches. And actually, one thing that I will give you the exclusive on, we are now in the process of sourcing all of the right ingredients to come up with a topped Tots.
Nice.
Kind of like in upstate New York, they've got something called the garbage plate, which is kind of, as the name implies, you just throw a bunch of stuff onto a plate, and it's a big, filthy, sloppy mess. Yeah. But it's so good.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to do that with our Tots. We're going to have the Tots. We're going to top it with a chicken. We're going to top it with a cheese sauce and with bacon and with jalapenos and with all these other things. So I was on the phone to one of my vendors on the drive over to kind of go through the very specific types of cheeses and things like that. So we're gonna have some fun stuff to.
That's really cool. What is it like integrating this into your life? Like, you have a full-time job. How are you finding time to do these? Like, do you have like a general manager that you lean on and stuff?
I do. Yeah. I've got Dave as our manager. He's awesome. We opened with another gal who was the GM, Brittany. She was awesome too. She ended up having the nerve to fall in love and get married and move to Virginia.
Good for her.
Yeah, but then I met Dave, and
Cool.
he's so good at managing the team and the ordering and all of that stuff. So
Awesome.
I feel very blessed. I feel
Good.
like the place is in good hands when I'm not there.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's I'm down here. I'm up in Cleveland. My regular job has me on the road probably a third of the year.
Wow.
And so I'm here through Sibs weekend, and then Sunday morning I drive up to Columbus, park my car at the airport, and I fly to DC for a conference. The following week I go to Charlotte, North Carolina for a conference. The week after that I'm in Norfolk, and then I'm in Cedar Falls, Iowa. And
Yeah.
I'm just all over the place, but I've gotten to know the Columbus airport really well. It's just a quick and easy flare from here.
Yeah, yeah. I do the drive to Cleveland and Athens a lot too. It's like 71. It's like 3 exits away from Athens.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's it's all good. It's all good, and this doing this kind of work to me is just super fulfilling.
Yeah.
It allows me to flex my little entrepreneurial brain. And my frustrated marketer brain, I get to do that. I get to do different merch and different contests. And for anybody listening, if you're not following our Instagram, please do. You'll see silly things on there. One of the things that we've really leaned into is, people have asked me when we first opened, so Hot Box, what does that mean exactly? And they're coming at it from an angle, and to them it's either one thing or it's the other. And I kind of feign innocence and I say, well, I love live music. And a hot box to me is like a sweaty little concert club, a sweaty little bar that has a band, thrashing up on the stage, and it's all hot and sweaty, and it's just a hot box of fun.
Yeah, which is like all of the memorabilia up on the wall is all just like the historical concerts and things that have happened at OU, which is like great. Like looking at those, I had no idea they were there. Some of the more recent ones, like when I was growing up, is like when Wiz Khalifa came here,
sure.
Some stuff like that, or like I knew about camp. They were kind of coming up as I was through high school and college, but no, all of those things are sick. Like even like Homecoming of 1968, like Simon and Garfunkel. I took a picture of that today.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's amazing the legacy of the tradition of live music here in Athens, and so that was one of the things that the extended delay of being able to open was able to give me. Because the spring before I was able to move all of my equipment into the space in Athens here, there was an article on one of the OU, I think, alumni websites or some newslettery thing, but it was talking about that musical tradition. And for the graphic, they had this collage of these concert posters. And I just thought, that's amazing. I need that for the walls of the place. That would just be the perfect topping off point. So I contacted the author. I sent her an email. And a day later, she emailed me back and was very flattered that I wanted to use that stuff. And she said, to be honest with you, these are just things out of the university archives. And I said, okay, who do I need to contact over there? Because I would love to license the use of these, to put them on my walls. And she says, okay, let me do some digging. And she got back to me a couple of days later, and she said, okay, I'm going to send you the link into the university archives. Go ahead, look around, use whatever you want. Download the highest resolution version so that it blows up nice and big. I said, okay, great. And what do I pay? Who do I pay? And she said, no, just you're helping spread, awareness of the greatness of what we've done and what we continue to do here. Put a little thank you note on the wall somewhere, for the university archives. So we've got that, on a little, sticker between Mary Wilson and Marshall Tucker Band, cool. Kind of on the wall there, yeah. And so, yeah, it's, from a marketing perspective, it's just fun to be able to blend all of that in. I have a brand new T-shirt. I should have brought you one. I see you've got some shirts
I
on the
have
wall.
it right there, my man.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the hot box.
That's the one.
That's the Ramones knockoff. Yeah, that's the Ramones logo. But instead of having, Joey and Dee Dee and Marky all around the ring, it says Chicken Fingers and Tots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped in today, saw that.
Well,
saw
thank
that
you.
shirt online. Yeah, I had to get a snack.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's really cool. The scholarship. Talk about the scholarship.
Yeah. So when my wife and I had the franchise up in Cleveland, one of the things that we were not anticipating, but really became a challenge and a joy, was where we were located. We were kind of in a tweener area where there were gentrified neighborhoods right next to us.
Yeah.
And then we were in the shadow of the steel mills, and going the other way, the shadow of downtown. There was no population base that was in walking distance that we could get employees from. So it was basically, we were on the bus line. Most of our workers were coming from the inner city. And we, in running it, my wife was the one running it day to day. And very quickly, she's working with, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds from the hood. And she would ask them, so you're in what year now? And they'd say, oh, I'm a sophomore in high school. Okay, that's great. So what are you going to do after that? And they would look at her blankly, like, what do you mean? Well, after you're done high school.
It's like no one had set the expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
For
and they
after
would
that.
say, I don't know. Do you mean I have to stop working here? And she would say, yeah, I hope you do. I hope you go to college. And so she would kind of put that seed in their minds.
Yeah.
And, one of our workers, beautiful girl named Brittany, and she was very excited when my wife was trying to talk her up into looking into colleges. And she came back the next day and she said, Miss Denise, I don't think I can do that. I talked to my mom and she said, we don't have money for college. And then Denise just smiled real big and said, okay, now we're going to have you and your mom sit down with Kevin, because this is what he does for a living.
Yeah, let's talk about the fast food. Let's learn what this
exactly.
is.
Yeah. And not only can he kind of help calm your fears, but he can give you introductions to the people at whatever school you want to go to. And so I sat down with her and with her mom, and 4.5 years later, we got invited to her graduation party from Bowling Green.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and so there were many years in those dozen that we were just breaking even, but it was so gratifying. It was so, it was like a personal mission. It's like, oh, we were put in this situation to do this. And so when I was going to open Hotbox here in Athens, I called that friend of mine who was the old dean of students. And I said, hey, Patty, here's what I'm thinking of doing. And I told her about Hotbox, and she loved the idea. And then I said, and I want to try to do a scholarship. I'm thinking maybe something for like one random OU student that's a customer. That's like every time they come in, put their name in the box, and at the end of the year we'll pull a name. And she said, okay, Kev, I love the idea. However, I have another suggestion. And she said, as you know, working with our financial aid staff, they're really well taken care of. I said, yeah, they really are. OU has a phenomenal financial aid staff. And she said, however, Athens County is the poorest county in Ohio.
Word.
We need the help here. And I said, okay, what if I do something for high school students? She goes, now you're really, that's the idea. And I said, okay, so I know of Athens High School. Is there just the one high school? She goes, no, we have 5.
Yeah, Alexander, Nelsonville, Fed Hawk. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. I said, how about I do maybe a smaller scholarship rather than just like a larger one for a student, but I make one scholarship for a student from each of the 5 Athens County high schools.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, you do that, and you're really going to help. You're going to make a difference.
Fuck yeah.
And so we put that together. We closed the window for applications about 2 weeks ago. We're going to be announcing the winner in another week.
Yeah, and you have maybe some different requirements than most. If you could touch on that.
Yeah. So many years ago, when I first got into working with student financial aid, a friend of mine who attended Ball State in Indiana, he told me, he goes, yeah, we've got a David Letterman scholarship. I said, what? He goes, yeah, we got a David Letterman scholarship. I said, why? That's silly. I mean, it's cool, but what is it for? He goes, no, this is really cool. He said, when Letterman was here at Ball State, he was a straight C student. And once he rose to fame and wealth, he realized that the C students always get overlooked, because if you're brilliant in high school, you're going to get a scholarship to college. If you're in college and you're busting your butt and you're getting straight A's, you can apply for scholarships even sophomore, junior year, and you'll get some extra funding. He said, but Letterman felt that the C-level students were always up against it. They were always struggling. And so I thought, okay, for my scholarship, for the Athens County scholarship by Hotbox, there are no academic requirements. There's a short essay. And the other thing is, I didn't want to make it where it had to go to OU. Yeah. As much as I love and respect the university.
But the town is bigger than the university.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. And so this scholarship for the 5 winners, they can apply that money towards any college, university, community college, or trade school that they want. I set it up. I did my research, and I found a website called bold.org. And Bold is like this clearinghouse of scholarships from smaller scholarship people like Hotbox that wanted to put something forward and don't know how to administer it so that it stays within the legal definitions of scholarship, and for the process, because there's certain things from a financial aid perspective that you have to do so that you don't goof up somebody's eligibility for other aid, so that what they are borrowing is still tax deductible, and weird little,
jargon.
Yeah. And regs, things like that.
Laws,
Yeah. And so Bold, basically, I fund the scholarship before it launches. Yeah. So they've been sitting on the money this whole time. I put up the parameters of what it should look like, and then they coordinate the intake of all the applications. They do pre-screens on them. I come up with my list of who I believe the finalists should be, and then they help me with the final selection. And then
are you like paying a fee to these people, like just to facilitate all this?
Yeah, but it's a very nominal.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other reason that I really love this organization is because my hope is that somebody from Fed Hoc, somebody from Athens High School, whatever school, they log on to this and they realize, oh, this isn't just for Hotbox. I can apply to all of these other scholarships that they're telling me I'm eligible for.
Buck, that's dope.
Yeah. And so my hope is that even if it's somebody that doesn't win, they still might win from somebody else. Yeah. One of the saddest statistics is that there's about a third of all of the scholarship dollars that are set aside go unfunded every year because nobody knows how to access it. There's scholarships out there if you've got green eyes and you're left-handed. And things like that are just really off the wall because somebody did it in memory of a loved one that was green-eyed and left-handed.
Well, what's happening to those funds? Like, because people are giving money for those, and there's just somebody like Bold is just sitting waiting to disperse. Like, whenever they roll it with 500 last year, maybe we'll do 2 at 500, or maybe we'll just give somebody. So they just kind of like true it up once they finally disperse it.
Yeah. And so there's other scholarship search engines out there too. Yeah. This is the one that I just thought was administratively very simple for me as the person that I've got 2 other jobs to do, simultaneously. Yeah. And I didn't need the extra
administrative oversight and burden.
Exactly,
for sure.
And to make sure that I'm doing it right. Yeah. So so I went ahead and I got that all set up with them.
It's really awesome.
And again, it's if somebody wants to do this and go to barber college, great. If they want to learn to drive a truck and get their CDL, cool.
Yeah. Which specific to our area, it's like Tri-County. So Tri-County is a vocational school that they accept. It's a little bit more than just the 5 counties. Like I think they go up to like New Lex and like Logan and stuff like that. But it is a vocational school that has like a carpentry program, has like a whatever diesel mechanic program. Yeah. But then they also have an adult career center as well. Where they like welding trades and things like that. And so I think. And especially it's in Nelsonville right next to Hocking College. And so I know there's a lot of interplay just between kids going out of that vocational school into Hocking or Yeah, but so I mean that's just to hear that it is applicable to trade schools, tech schools, community colleges, like back to those B, C, Ds, like you know, it just like kind of makes sense. Like that is where they might land prior to whatever. I'm gonna go off to Berkeley. Like I mean, personally, right? I was telling you, like I just didn't even. I was like, I didn't take ACT, SAT. He was like, fuck. What do you mean? You know. So hearing that, like the GPA requirement isn't there. That's just it's such a beautiful thing. You're a sick guy. Thank you. Thanks for being who you are, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's to me, it's such a joy because it's. I'm not working one job and moonlighting and like trying to hide the existence of the other job from the first. The people in my day job are fully aware of what I do with Hotbox. The people at Hotbox absolutely understand I'm not always here because I've got this other job. One thing that I find that's really hilarious, I was down here in the summer. And, you know, and the beauty of my regular job is I can work remotely from anywhere. So I was down here for a week and basically working from the dining room. I'd have my laptop set up and I'm clacking away. Well, I got up to go into the kitchen to get myself a Mountain Dew. And while I'm in the back, Dave, my manager, he comes back and he goes, "Hey, Kev, there's a woman that was asking if you're here today." I said, "Really?" And I kind of craned my neck and I looked past the cook line. And here's a friend of mine that worked for a competitor of mine in my day job. Oh. But it's a very small fraternity of people that do what I do. Yeah. And we see each other at all the conferences. Well, she was here to meet with the financial aid office at OU, and she decided to stop by and check out my restaurant. Cool, man. Yeah. So I sat down with her and you know, talked while she ate her lunch. And then, but she had already paid. So I couldn't say, "Hey, this is on me." And she goes, No, I'm happy to do it. I said, "Can I at least give you a T-shirt?" And she goes, "Absolutely." And so she looks at the T-shirts that are available and she goes, "Oh, nice Tots. I want that one." And I've got these orange shirts, and across the front in our script, it says "Nice Tots," and on the back it has my logo. And I just looked at her and I said, "You sure?" She goes, "Oh, hell yeah." And she ended up wearing it to a conference that I was with her at, you know, the next month. Yeah, that's so awesome. She was just kind of wearing it proudly and like, "Hey, check this out." So yeah, we have fun. It's the whole idea with Hotbox is I don't want to take it. I don't want Hotbox to take itself too seriously. Yeah, man. And that's, I think, the right vibe for a college town. Yeah. Where are you getting this energy from? Like, I don't, like, it's, yeah, man, like, fuck, what's the stem of the, like, it's just, you know, a catalyst for like empowerment to these kids. Like I mean, you don't, how many people that own a franchise are talking to the 16-year-old like in the like line cook, like, "Hey man, you gotta get out of here. Like we don't want you to work here for." Like that's cool, man. Thank you. I don't know. I'm honest answer. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. It's ADHD. it's you know, bouncing off the walls and go do this, go do that, and then I crash for 18 hours at a time. It's just, I don't know, if it's something that I am really all about, I'm all in. As long as I get my little breaks here and there. And when I'm traveling, if I'm in the car driving for 5 hours, cool. I chill, I listen to my music, and I'm good. If I'm on an airplane, I'm totally shutting down and land at the other place and I'm ready to go. But if you're doing something that really thrills you, it's fun. I get down here and my wife knows that that Hotbox is a vortex. And if I walk in the door, I'm not leaving for at least a couple hours, even if I'm there to just drop off a box of something. And so I drove down last night and I had 4 boxes of stuff in the back of my car. And I thought, no, if I drop it off tonight, I am not getting to my hotel until midnight. And so instead, I made the conscious decision to go straight to the hotel, get some other work done. And then I was there this morning and unloading all the stuff. Self-regulation. Yeah. And it's that takes quite a bit of discipline, which I don't have. But, at least I'm aware of my tendencies. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. No, I wish I could have a good answer for you, like, oh, it's cocaine. But no, it's just who I am. And, and I like to juggle. I actually do juggle in real life. Not a lot, but I taught myself in high school. And to me, that's a lot of what this is. It's okay. We got to do this. We've got it now. We got to do that. And my oldest child, my daughter, is a therapist, and she therapist slash social worker slash all these other great things. And she asked me a couple of years ago. She said, "So, Dad, how did you grow up with ADHD without any meds and without this and without that?" And I just looked at her like she was like trying to insult me or tell a joke. And she goes, "What? You didn't know?" I said, "I don't have ADHD." And a couple of other kids of mine were in the room at the time, and they just looked at me and they're like nodding their head. "Oh yeah, you do. You do." And so now I kind of go, "Oh, that explains why I like this kind of job and that kind of job," because it's, working in the kitchen at a restaurant is very chaotic for some. And to me, it's kind of a fun rhythm.
Yeah, dude, I can hyper focus. I have impulse. That's really what I'd say. It's just kind of like impulse control. It's like regulating that thought that you're like, fuck it, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
I just tunnel vision really fast.
Right. Yeah, and to be able to use this as a superpower, and do good with it is just the most fulfilling thing in the world. Short of my 4 kids and my wife and all of that and my pets, those are all very fulfilling too.
Yeah, what kind of pets you got?
I have a dog that's a border collie.
Nice.
And I've got 2 cats. And I'm also right now cat sitting for my kid who just graduated from OU.
Have fun.
2 more cats.
Nice.
So
house full.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just a couple hours ago, I stopped in over at Petland because there was a guy spinning a big sign out front saying puppy sale today. And I'm like, oh, really? So I went in to go visit.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Lots of energy border collies, huh?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's fun.
Yeah, no, and she's just the sweetest. But it's a matter of just, do what you can to make the world a better place. And
Heard that.
Things are so dark right now that, to me, when I can come to Athens and people are still very optimistic and very energized and focused and challenging the status quo and all that, man, that just gives me energy.
Yeah.
And so again, with a restaurant, I can feed people. We can do things like that.
Which that's a good point. I haven't brought that up. I mean, not that whatever, just because you were a business in Athens before, like you didn't catch my radar. But really, when I was like, this guy, I got to get this guy in the room, it was like when the SNAP benefit shut down, and you just were kind of like, pull up. We got you.
Yeah.
That, I mean, again, back to the just like catalyst for empowerment to the community, or like the quote here, like it's not like our business was doing as well as it could have been, but we were doing a lot of good in the community, and that doesn't mean nothing. I mean, it's that same energy, but like, yeah, I mean, was that a hard decision for you? Did it make sense? Yeah.
It made perfect sense in my heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cane's had just opened up about 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before. We had seen a substantial dip in sales. All of the other restaurants, the independent restaurants on Court Street, had seen a big dip in sales too. Everybody.
How do you know that? Do you just talk?
I talk to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And kind of surprisingly to me, it's like, wait a minute, you don't even sell chicken. Yeah. But everybody goes to check out the new guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine. I understand that. That's okay. But while the government was teetering on the verge of a shutdown. I remember it was the World Series. I was up late on the couch watching that
like 18 inning game.
Yeah. And it was literally like 1:30 in the morning, still going on, and I'm like, I am so invested in this now. I am not going to sleep because the game will end the half inning after I go to sleep. So I'm on the couch, but I'm doom scrolling. I am just looking through.
Thanks for admitting that, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm just looking through all of the horrible news that the poor people were being held as hostages, and I just thought, this is cruel. It's cruel for both parties to do this, and again, there's not much that the left could have done more than they were pushing for, but to me, I just thought, no, at some point you're a legislator, you're there to represent your people, and you're going to let your people starve. And so just in really a moment, a little like my head just kind of went poof, little gray smoke came out of my ears, and I thought, I'm doing something. I have a restaurant, and we're facing the challenges of competition.
The
at
fucking
this point.
2 weeks after the competitor opens and you're losing sales, man. Fuck.
And I thought, you know what? I've got to do something, and if it takes me out, I'll go out in a blaze of glory. And I decided, I sat on my couch and I made that Instagram post that to allow people to go hungry is criminal. It's a horrible thing. And so if you're affected by the SNAP benefits being cut off, just come into Hotbox. Show us your SNAP card. Tell us what you want to eat, and we'll make it for you. And I posted it, and most of my posts will get anywhere from 24 to 200 likes, maybe 1 or 2 retweets or shares or whatever. Well, I hit send. And then I went back to the game. The commercial break had ended, and another half inning goes by, and nothing happens in the game. So they're in another commercial break, and I look back down at my phone, and I was already at 300 likes and about 25 shares.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, man, I'm actually going viral for once. And so the next morning, I woke up to emails from reporters from, the Post and the news and wanting to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. And the Chamber of Commerce had reached out saying, okay, we have a list of food assistants. Can we add you to it?
Wow.
And I said, absolutely. And they said, so is this limited to like 1 meal per person, like during the shutdown? I said, yeah, they can come in 3 times a day. I don't care. We'll just keep feeding them. We're going to feed people. And so I turned around at that point about, 2 or 3 days in, because other people were saying, how can I help? I had another restaurant call me up and say, hey, at the end of the day, we have like a lot of leftover rolls and this and that and soup.
Just local or Cleveland places?
No, local, right here, yeah. And so, one day we had like a tureen of soup brought in and some dinner rolls. And
Sick.
we just handed it out. Hey, do you like soup? Here, take some home with you. And so I thought at that point, okay, well, people are asking, can I donate? Can I chip in? And I said, let's wait until this becomes a thing. Let's wait until the shutdown actually happens, and if so, I'll set up a GoFundMe or a Venmo account. Mm-hmm. And then I turned around and I hit up my vendors and said, okay, you're here to support the community. Now's time.
Yeah.
And so between the vendors and the donations and things like that, I ended up getting about $7,000 in assistance to help do this. I turned around and I served over $17,000 worth of free food.
That's so cool, man.
And it's kind of funny. It's like I felt like it's what I had to do. Again, it was kind of like, is this my last stand? Am I going down? By doing this? But we've got a little message board up in the front part of the dining room where people can draw little cartoons or notes or whatever and tack it up there. And a week later, that thing was filled with notes of people saying thank you. And my next trip into Athens, like a couple of weeks after everything had ended and funding was restored, I'm walking through the dining room, and there's an older woman at the counter waiting for her order. And she sees me walk in, and somehow she just knew to ask. She said, excuse me, are you the owner? I said, yeah, I am. Hi, I'm Kevin. And she told me her name and shook my hand, and she said, I just want to thank you. You fed my husband and I when we didn't have any money and we didn't have any food. And now that, things have normalized, we're back here to buy our food. But thank you. And I'm just proud. I'm proud to have been able to do that. Growing up, I had heard stories of how my dad had done similar things. And so it's kind of like we're just, we're all here for each other. We've got to do this stuff.
Yeah, man. Leadership by example.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, and I also, the staff was all bought in. They were all for it. They thought it was the coolest thing. And, and again, and I thank them on my socials too. Like after this was all done, when I kind of gave like the final tally of what we had accomplished. And I think the staff really has a sense of ownership of the place too. Uh-huh. It's like this is kind of their thing. They kind of they understand it, they lean into it, and they're happy to be there.
Yeah, which is kind of opposite of what you explained in a franchise, kind of just being constricted by all these standard operating procedures like that. So that's cool to see on the converse side.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go.
Man, Kevin McNamara, dude, this is awesome. I'm glad that our community has a guy like you inside of it, virtually sometimes. That's really awesome.
No, I'm happy to be here. I am thrilled to be considered a part of this community. It's just such a great little place, and it's kind of funny. Over the summer, I was doing one of my daily trips to Walmart because I needed more stuff for the restaurant, and I'm walking past the sporting goods section. And I thought, I have not taken any time for myself while I'm down here. So I bought myself a fishing rod and a fishing license.
Sick.
And then I'm like, okay, I am going to take advantage of all of this beauty around us. So it's still in the trunk of my car.
Have fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Athens is great, man. It's a little bubble. It's funny that a lot of people say that seems to they come here for a college visit and it's just like, holy shit, what is this place?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, well, my friend, again, was, the dean of students here. She came here for undergrad and never left.
Oh, wow.
And she, 3 years ago, was recruited away to take a really very cool job at NYU.
Oh, wow.
But she still lives in Athens. And she spends half of her month in Manhattan and half of the month here. And she's like, why would I ever leave here? So.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. So great. So you have a Facebook, Instagram, you got the website, is this the Instagram you're posting regularly on? That's where they can find out more?
Yeah, that and Facebook too. I tend to cross-post when I'm doing that. Cool. I'm also on Threads. I don't do anything exclusively for Threads. I just kind of cross-post onto it.
Cool.
That was just a way to, shed the Twitter. The Twitter thing there, but we do that, and then we've also got the website. I am looking to redesign the website, so you can look for changes on that at some point in the next month or two.
Cool.
But yeah, everything else you'll see on the socials there. We also have a text club.
Oh, cool.
And people can text the, in fact, you know what? Here, I'll give you a little plug.
855-241. I just saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the...
I can make sure I get it in the description as well.
Yeah, the 1-800-CARS for kids. No, it's... boy, that is just the most insidious jingle, too, if you've ever heard that. It's 888-570-2411. If you just text the word Tots to it, you'll be on the text club, and we send specials out weekly.
Perfect. And then you also have what's that card right up in the dash, the meals club?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's our munch club.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And for that, it's you get a stamp for every hot box that you order, and after 10 of them, you get your next one free.
Sick. Yeah. So for a college kid that's frequenting.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, the other big chain doesn't have any sort of discounting, any sort of freebies. If you sign up for their club once a year on your birthday, they send you a buy one get one, and I'm like, what? That's no big treat.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we're there's college kids all around here. Yeah. We need to, let them save enough money so they can go and buy their $2 beers.
Yeah, which are also special to Athens. Nothing like Athens drink prices.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, awesome. Well, so you mentioned that the scholarship thing just ended. Looking forward to seeing the winners of that. That'll be really awesome. When does that open back up?
That'll open back up in the fall.
Fall. Okay.
Yeah, and it's eligible if you've got to be a senior in any of the Athens high schools.
Cool.
So that'll reopen at that point. And we've got QR codes and other links available to get people enrolled into that. Awesome. And we also do a lot with the local arts and music communities. We sponsored the stage at Ohio Brew Week this past summer.
Cool.
And then we were also a sponsor for the Arts and Music and Craft Festival that was further up the road. Right now, I'm also working with Up and Up Athens,
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, it's a student group that is trying to. They're participating in a national contest that's called Up and Up, and what it is it's basically for every public university in America. is eligible to participate. And then they're, in about 2 weeks, they're going to have a 48-hour window that each of the schools are challenged to buy pre-sale tickets to a music festival. The top 5 schools in the country that have sold the most pre-sale tickets, those actually become tickets. Everybody else gets their money refunded.
Oh.
And then it's going to be an EDM festival.
Oh.
And they're hoping to have that at the Athens County Fairgrounds. And
when? This summer, you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, not even. It'll be later this semester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so they're
if they win.
If they win, yes, if they win. So we're actually going to have like a DJ night at Hotbox,
Cool.
Coming up soon.
Who's the DJ for it?
Oh yeah,
A-Rock, Casey, Marcellus Doe. I'm trying to pull out names. I don't even know if they're still in Athens.
You're stumping me.
No,
I'm embarrassed to not know.
No, we'll slap it in there.
Yeah. Let's see. It's their Twitter handle or their Instagram handle is OhioU_up&up.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I could go through my emails and pull their names out, but my brain doesn't.
No worries.
Retain. But and so again,
a lot of cool things going on.
Yeah, a lot of cool things, and so we're trying to really just stay as grassroots involved as we can. Whether it's with the frats and sororities, whether it's with Passion Work Studio, whether it's any musical concern. I'm just looking for more posters to be able to stick on the walls of the dining room.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. Well, again, I appreciate you coming through. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, thanks, me too.
Again, I'm really happy that you're in the community.
Thank you.
For sure. Kevin,
appreciate it.
Thanks.